Week 1 is here, baby. We know it's Sunday morning, but to me, I think week 1 starts as of, I guess, a few hours ago, whenever the clock struck midnight. I'm fired up, man. We got Florida. We got Miami in the swamp. Gonna be a good one. Gonna be a very, very good one. We've given you a little bit of the most important things. We've talked about the way too early, look at things. Right now, just gonna give you the early look, our prediction for this game on the Tuesday live show. All right, so make sure you're subscribed right here so you don't miss a minute of the coverage we have for the glorious thing that is the college football season that is now upon us. And at the very least, we're predicting this game on Tuesday, so would encourage you to be dialed in. Again, 11 a.m. Eastern is when that live show will start. The show, of course, the hard count, myself, JD Pickell, Nick Brake on the ones and twos. We have a good time here. So, I'm really curious when it comes to this game. What do we get from Cam Ward? And I'm not talking about, does he have the juice physically? Is he able to make the throws? We've seen that. Everyone who has access to YouTube, and you watching this show proves you have access to YouTube, we've been able to search a Cam Ward highlights and just watch him drop dimes like it was his job in Pullman, Washington last year. He's pretty good, all right? Not questioning that. My question is, this is a very different set of circumstances than you would typically have for a starting quarterback in this game. Transfer quarterback, a lot of new pieces around him. And oh, by the way, you're playing in what I would call the most difficult, if not one of the most difficult, places to play in all of college football. And so my question is, what do we see from Cam Ward from a ability to handle the environment perspective? Because I don't know Cam Ward personally. Heard a lot of good things about Cam Ward. Heard a lot of good things about how he's an alpha and how he's just a ridiculous competitor, all those things. You heard that and you appreciate that. But in this moment, there's two ways this could go. On one hand, you're like, there's the swamp. And I've seen some teams now, some mature teams, some well-coached teams walk in there and not look at all how we expect them to look or how they would look if it was at a neutral site or at their place. The swamp just does some things to people. It can allow you to be way off your game, and Florida as a team will capitalize on that. They'll play to their crowd, and it'll be phenomenal. That's one possibility. The other possibility, going back to what I just said about what we've heard about Cam Ward, is that the dude is just different. Sometimes you just kind of shrug your shoulders and say, yeah, he's him. Is that Cam Ward playing in the swamp? I don't know, but gosh dang it, I can't wait to see. Because if Cam Ward is different, there is a lot of firepower on this Miami offense. Yes, some new names to the roster via the portal for sure. But there's some firepower now where if your quarterback is on his P's and Q's, if he's not flapped by the situation, I guess flapped is the word I would say there. I don't know if there's another. If he's not thrown off by the situation, by the external environment that is the swamp, I don't think anybody else is going to flinch either. You go as your quarterback goes. So the bottom line here is, can't have any first day of school vibes if you're Cam Ward. Those of y'all know what I mean. You walk in your first day of school, and if you're feeling like you have some confidence and you kind of know where you're going, you know where your classes are, you know your teachers, you know the schedule, you know your routine, it's pretty easy to walk in first day of school, get comfortable, get acclimated. Yeah, there's some new things, but you kind of take it all in stride. You're good, smooth sailing for the most part. But the other first day of school possibility is you walk in there, you're nervous, you get a little bit of that sweaty palms, no Marshall Mathers. You feel a little bit, just uncomfortable, and you're stuttering over your words when they call roll. That can't be the situation for Cam Ward, because if he shows any signs of the first day of school jitters, again, the swamp will absolutely go berserk. They will start to frenzy, and things could get very uncomfortable. That's the obvious part of this. Now, for Florida, I'm curious on the flip side of that, do they have that fuse lighting moment early on in the football game? We talked about it in our most important things segment. Florida, can you create some momentum? Can you get some blood in the water for your crowd to start to frenzy? And a big part of that, I believe, is how do you defend Trey Wilson, Eugene Wilson III, for those of y'all checking the rosters, if you're Miami, and how do you feed him if you're Florida? Because he is the best player on your football team. Billy Napier has been, I believe, heard to say that they're going to wear out Trey Wilson. They should. He is the best player on your team. He needs to have the highest level of impact possible in this football game. It's a great way to go about doing business. However, if you're Miami and you're able to be solid on the line of scrimmage and kind of take away the run game, and you're able to give enough attention to a Trey Wilson, whether you're keeping a safety over the top and having someone play underneath and kind of bracket him, whether you're giving him man coverage with someone that you feel good about, which God bless you if you feel that way. If that happens and you're able to maybe not, negate, but let's say minimize an impact of a Trey Wilson. We've talked a lot about Florida and their extra pass catchers they have now in addition to him. Could be an Aiden Mizell. Could be an Andy Jean. You just go down the line. It could be Elijah Badger. There could be any number of guys. But the reality is, for Florida, Ricky Pearsall was your leading receiver last year. He's gone to the league. First-round pick. Shouts to him. You had Trey Wilson as your second leading receiver last year. Behind Trey Wilson, there is nobody else on this roster that had more than 300 yards receiving from a season ago. Now, last year is last year. This year is this year. But I'm just saying, how many answers does Florida have and how much momentum can they create offensively if they do take away a Trey Wilson? Now, of course, your job if you're Florida and if you're Billy Napier is to make sure they can't take him away. So we'll see what happens there. But speaking to that fuse lighting moment, some big plays from Trey Wilson would feed the beast that is the swamp, because that's the ultimate variable that I think you account for here in this game if you're a Florida fan or if you're a Miami fan. It's going to have some kind of impact. Now, here's my big question. This is kind of a macro level question, and we'll see it play itself out throughout the course of the season, but especially in this game, man. It's year 3 for both coaches. Cristobal and Napier, year 3. It is a show-me-something year. Cristobal has kind of been trending upward slowly. Billy Napier has had, I think, a different set of circumstances he's working with, also a difficult schedule. But at this point in the game, man, it's like we need to see something. Which outfit looks like a year 3 team? Because as many good things and good moments as you can point to for both outfits. Florida, I know there's some games you would have liked to have back and finish better, but like the South Carolina game, I think, is a testament to some progress. Came back in the fourth quarter. Tremendous. Miami, wins and losses, shows a positive trend. But last year now, both teams were in the negative on the season in turnover margin. Okay, Miami gave it away twice a game. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Also, penalties, discipline, things you can control for the most part. Both teams were pretty subpar. Florida had 6.8 penalties a game, good for 106th in America. Miami, they were 106th in penalty yards per game. Just funny how those numbers shake out. Who doesn't beat themselves? Who looks like a year 3 operation? Who's able to just rise above the noise and all the extra talk and able to just put their best foot forward in a big moment for both teams? And what I believe could very well be the game of the weekend for both teams, for all of college football, I suppose. Most important game of the year for both these teams, I would say. Arguably, jumping off point for the rest of their season. Like, there's a lot to unpack here. Which team is mature enough, together enough, disciplined enough, in year 3 now, to meet the moment? That is, I think, one of the largest variables in this entire thing. If you don't beat yourself a lot of times in college football and you let your opponent make the mistakes, you're going to be in good shape. A lot of times that's winning football. Not saying that's the end-all, be-all, but I think it's a pretty massive part of it. So, we'll predict this game on Tuesday. Again, make sure you're subscribed right here to the On3 YouTube channel so you don't miss it. 11 a.m. Eastern on Tuesday. If you're more of a podcast person, it'll also be in your podcast feed. Spotify, Apple, you type in The Hard Count with JD Pickell, and it'll pop up there for you. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.